Hey there, this is the video portion of my assessment assignment, and I've recruited my husband Rob to act as a client so that I can show you how I would administer these assessments to future individuals. So before we started the video, I got Rob to fill out a PAR-Q form. All of his answers came back as no, so I knew that it was safe to actually administer the following assessments. We'll be going over 4 assessments: the heart rate, the waist circumference, the push-up, as well as the single leg stance assessment, and we're going to start with the heart rate assessment. So Rob has been sitting here relaxing for a few minutes, and he's ready to administer this assessment. As you know, any sort of excitement or anything like that will cause your heart rate to raise. This is a good assessment because it gives you an indication of the cardiorespiratory or aerobic fitness that your client might be in. Typically, people that are aerobically fit will have lower resting heart rates. So there's 3 ways that we can administer this. We could listen to his heartbeat with a stethoscope. We could do it through his radial artery or through his carotid artery. And I'm choosing to do it through his carotid artery with a 15-second count. Basically, that means that I will count it for 15 seconds, multiply my answer by 4, and then I'll have an approximate beats per minute. So ready? $17. So multiply that by 4 and you will have your beats per minute. All right, thanks. So the next assessment that I'm going to do on Rob is the waist circumference assessment, and this is important because it gives you an idea of the visceral fat that your client is holding. Visceral fat's very dangerous. It can be a factor in diseases like type 2 diabetes, dyslipidemia, that sort of thing. Even if your client is in a normal weight range, extra visceral fat is very dangerous to have. So that's important to go over with your client. So how I'm going to administer this is I'm going to get Rob to stand with his feet pointing forward at shoulder width, with his arms across his chest in a relaxed manner. And I'm going to search for the most superior part of his iliac crest. Make a mark. And use the inferior part of my tape measure to measure at this mark. So I want to make sure that it is, what's the word I'm looking for? Horizontal, you can speak. Horizontal across his abdomen, at the correct spot. I want to make sure it's snug but not cutting into his skin. And I'm going to measure that at the nearest 0.5 of a centimeter. Thank you. So the third assessment that I'm going to do with Rob is the push-up assessment. This is a really good indicator of your upper body muscular endurance, so your chest, your shoulders, your arm endurance. So what I'm going to get Rob to do is lay face down with his head at this end, his hands underneath his shoulders, his feet together. And from here, the next position would be for him to push himself up, fully extending at the elbows. And what I'm looking for is a straight line. I'm getting Rob to concentrate on the floor in front of him, looking for a straight line. Now Rob's using his toes as a point of pivot instead of his knees, which typically a female would use. So then I'm going to get him to go back down. This descending, I would typically just get him, while he's doing his reps, to bring his chin in and to avoid contact with his legs and his stomach. So he has unlimited amount of time to perform as many reps as possible. If he's feeling any sort of pain or discomfort, I'm going to get him to stop. And if he does 2 in a row without proper technique, I'm not going to count those 2, and I'll just take that number that he's given me. So if you want to do a practice, you can do 2 for a practice if you want, or you can just jump right into it. Just jump right into it. Okay, ready? Go. Alright, you can stop. Good job. Alright, so for the final assessment, I am going to get him to do a single leg stance. So I'm going to bring the chair in as a precaution for support. And what this assessment is, thank you. What this assessment is good for is determining on the spectrum what you're dealing with in terms of balance. It is also really good for leg strength, core strength, and it kind of shows you a really good neuromuscular system, how they work together, so that's kind of cool too. So what I'm going to get Rob to do is stand with his feet again pointed forward, shoulder width apart. I'm going to get him to put his arms again across his chest in a relaxed manner, and I'm going to get him to focus on a point on the opposite wall. So from here, whenever he's ready, whenever he's ready, I'll have him lift whichever foot he's comfortable with starting with. And as soon as that foot lifts, that's when I'm going to start my time. Now Rob has 45 seconds to do this. And if he falls within 3 seconds, I'll let him have a remake. If I see any sort of movement in the planted foot that's trying to kind of help maintain balance, his time will be stopped, as well as if his raised foot goes down or his arms move, I will also stop the assessment. So when you're ready, let me know. So using the other leg now, when you're ready. Okay. Now the next part of this is going back to the foot that we started with. However, this time Rob's going to do everything the same. However, he'll have his eyes closed. All the same parts of the assessment will apply. The 3 seconds and the deviations in his stance will also all apply. So whenever you're ready, I'll have you close your eyes and lift your foot. Good job. And when you're ready, I'll have you do the other side. You want another try? Okay. All right, so those are the 4 assessments that I've gone over: the heart rate, the waist circumference, the push-up, and the single leg stance. And I just want to say thanks to Rob. Thank you.